Alrighty, so it's a busy Friday. We're pumping out content as if we were some type of paid broadcasting service. There's a commercial break in between, Nick, but we have Adam back midday today on the Double Play, that I get the name right, podcast. There's a lot to keep track of. Adam, what are you looking forward to talking with us about today?
Hey, what's going on, Chris? Yeah, it's been a while. Just like I was telling you, just kind of wanting to maybe get up to speed a little bit with things. I really took that Eagles Super Bowl loss really hard, and because of that, I don't know, I couldn't get in front of the camera for a little bit, but I'm finally over it, and just ready to kind of get back into the swing of things. Honestly, the last, I don't know, 2-3 months. Well, really, ever since I left my other job, I mean, I'd really just been trying to put something together, when it comes to something that's good for everybody, when it comes to field sales, when it comes to telesales. I mean, not one way over the other is a good fit for everybody. So that's really, I took about 2-3 months to really dig down and learn telesales. I had seen a lot of people in the industry that were doing pretty well with it. A lot of it through like Facebook lead generation, things like that. And same thing. I've always had that attitude. If other people can do it, I'm sure I can figure it out. It's just a matter of putting the effort in and the time. And and honestly, I mean, it works. It really does. I'm getting back into field sales, but that's just because that's really my bread and butter. I mean, that's what I've done for 20 years, and that's just really what I love to do. I have someone else that's going to be running the telesales side for me. So, our organization, I mean, we have agents that are doing field sales. We also have agents that are on the phones. So, and again, I've been trying to put together like this perfect thing, when it comes to what agents are looking for. And sometimes I just feel like maybe I overthought it a little bit too much. At the end of the day, I sat back and I remembered, well, heck, I've been doing this for 20 years. That's something that a lot of people don't have to offer, is that kind of experience to agents that can kind of show agents how to have that long-term success and longevity, really, just to be in the business. I mean, how many agents get going, they get licensed, they get started, and then they flop. They're in and out of the business. There's even people that run agencies that same thing. They try it for a few years and then they're in and out of the business. I mean, I'm 20 years strong now. So I think that's one thing I just got to remember in the back of my mind, is that I don't need to have the perfect setup. I think if you sit around and you wait and to bring agents into something until everything is perfect, you're never going to get started. I mean, I think probably the biggest organizations out there, those that do the most premium, they'd probably tell you, yeah, we're not perfect. We could fix some things. So that's really, I care so much about the people I work with and the agents. And I want to make sure that they're set up good. But at the end of the day, I just got to remember, heck, I mean, they have me, and I've been doing this a long time. And I think just me being able to help them and support them is at least a really good start to kind of get things moving here.
Yeah, I think what I've learned a lot in business is that it's a you versus you kind of battle. Like, you can provide them leads, lead vendors, lead programs. You can provide them comp that's fair for the package you're offering, competitive carriers so they have something to sell, support so they have somebody to call. But in the end, you could provide the best of all of those pillars of the business, but they're the one that's going to have to leave their house, dial the phone, close the sale, submit the application, budget their money appropriately, and manage their own particular franchise.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, do you really want to work with somebody if all they're doing is contract shopping anyways?
Yeah.
I mean, you want to work with people that want to work with you because they believe in you and what you can do for them. So if all I have to offer somebody is a high contract, well, I mean, what's the point? I mean, until the next time they find someone that's going to offer them a higher contract, they're going to be out of here. So, I'd rather be able to work with people that know that I'm there for them, that I'm going to provide that value and support, and see to it that they can have that long lasting career. Like I said, I mean, I celebrated my 20th anniversary getting licensed back in February. So, and I'd say 95% of it has primarily just been in the one market, the final expense.
I think people in general want to be valued and receive value in return. Would you agree or disagree with that?
Oh, I totally agree. I think people, I don't know. I think people overall, whether it's business or just in life, people want to feel like they're a part of something. They want to feel like they mean something. They want to feel loved,
Mhm.
honestly. And the agents want to know that they exist. They don't want to just be a number. When they have a good day and they're telling you about it, well, you better be able to support them and congratulate them, but you also need to be there when they have a bad day
Yeah.
and they need someone to talk to. So it's more than just about getting people started. It's about building those relationships where people are going to want to stick with you and stay with you long term.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. Like I figured that trying to get back into a gym routine myself, paying for private training, not because I want to burn money, but because I can't fit it into my schedule and there's any other way. And I'd like to be instantly fit as quick as possible, like able to throw huge weight, look perfect, and all that stuff that you want to have happen. But
Mm-hmm.
growth takes time. The first time I met with the guy, he said, you're going to see results pretty quick in the fact that you can do things a little bit better, a little bit quicker, a little bit longer. But realistically, you're not going to see results for like 6 months, but then they'll be there. But
Yep.
how many people in this business aren't even willing to put the 6 months in to get the growth that they're trying to acquire?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. People, again, kind of going back to like I was talking about, seeing really what I was seeing a lot of videos on YouTube of these agents that were fairly new in the business that were out there crushing it with the telesales, writing a bunch of business. But one thing you got to remember, they're going to make it look easy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many phone calls, if they're on a recorded call or they're recording a phone call and they're going all the way through that to make a sale, how many times did they have to hit that record button until they finally got that one person where they actually made the sale? I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, they make it look a lot easier than it really is. I don't think telesales is any easier than being out in the field.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think they're two totally different ways of doing business, but they both take a ton of work.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of, do you want to sit at home and just dial all day? Or do you want to be out in the field and just knock on doors or have appointments, whatever? I just, honestly, I kind of got tired of sitting around hearing that phone ringing all day. I'd rather
Yeah.
be out in the field and driving around and going and seeing people. It's a different, I don't know, over the phone. I mean, I guess they can kind of hear your mannerisms a little bit, but in person, I mean, they can really see you and they know that you're that you care about what you're talking about. Where over the phone, I feel like maybe it's a little bit harder to sell yourself.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's also figuring out that everything that's successful is equally challenging. Like I did a little bit of ACA, like nothing to even boast about, but just to understand conceptually when people are talking about ACA, what even is this? And
Yeah.
I'm like, this isn't like something I'd want to do 6 days a week from my desk texting. This isn't my wheelhouse, but I need to have a workable understanding when someone says to me, hey, I want to quit you and do ACA. I'm like, well, let's talk about what that looks like so you can make an informed decision. You did
Yep.
the same with telesales. You can still do it, you understand it, but it's also figuring out what's in your wheelhouse. Like, what am I good at? Am I a pitcher? Am I a catcher? Am I a left fielder? Am I a designated hitter? Figuring out what you're good at in business is so important.
Well, yeah. And if you're a pitcher, you're not just going to suddenly say, I want to go play center field. And that's, honestly, I mean, the last 2-3 months, I mean, I'm really good out in the field. I took a step back to learn the telesales and, and I'd say, I did pretty well with it. And like I said, I'd prefer to have someone else run it. I guess my advice to a brand new agent is to find a path and just stick with it and never change. Get good at what you're doing, stick with it, whether that's field sales, whether that's telesales. I mean, heck, if you try one and you fail, try the other. And if you fail at that, well, then maybe you got to find a new industry to be involved with.
Yeah.
But, at least there are, the one thing with telesales, I think it brings a whole nother market, I guess, a whole nother type of agent, I guess, that you can recruit to. At least with final expense. I mean, to be quite honest, I mean, we don't work the nice side of town. There's a lot of people that maybe don't feel safe working some of the areas that we go into, but they would be perfectly fine selling to someone that lives in those communities over the phone. Me personally, I've been in those areas for 20 years. I've never had one issue. I've worked the worst parts of Chicago. I mean, you name it. All you hear about is how horrible Chicago is on the news. I haven't had one issue in 20 years in the business. So, I mean, I wouldn't want to shoo somebody away from field sales by saying we don't work the nice side of town. You just got to kind of look out when you're out there for, yourself and what you're doing. And I mean, like I said, I've never really had any issues, but for those that don't feel safe, at least you got telesales.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you find out over the course of time that you prefer working in a rural market. And I don't care. There might not be a rural market 2 hours from your house, but maybe you take 2 weeks out of the month, travel to a rural market, blitz the hell out of it, and then take 2 weeks off. Maybe not exactly like that. Don't quote me and call me on it 3 years from now. But figure out what works, be it rural, phone, urban. And when you figure out that you're good at something, keep doing it. Eventually, it's going to get boring, but I'm sure you enjoy pouring your passion into other parts of your life outside of the insurance industry too, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess I wear my heart on my sleeve with pretty much everything I do. I mean, whether that's work, whether that's, being involved with the different things that my kids are a part of, yeah. I mean, I enjoy life. I like my cousin said, he was my best man at my wedding. He said, Adam always wants to make sure everybody around him is having as much fun as he's having. And that's just kind of how I am. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I want to make sure everybody around me is enjoying life and enjoying what they're doing as much as I am. And again, when it comes to building an agency, I think that's probably a good characteristic, I guess you could say, to have. I want to make sure, like, I can't stand if I know that I have an agent that's like upset about something, it bugs me. I don't want them to be upset. I want them to be happy. I want them to be feeling good about things. So, we'll do what we can to fix things. Problems arise, things happen. I mean, heck, I had a guy yesterday that called me. I set him up on contracting and I forgot to put him on in advance. So his first piece of business, he's like, what the heck? And then right away, then there's like trust issues and stuff. And there didn't need to be. It was just a mistake. Didn't mean to, I wasn't targeting anybody and just didn't mean to just not put him on in advance. Things happen.
Yeah.
But worked the way through it and was able to talk to the carrier. And I think he'll end up getting paid his full commission on his first case. So it's good. But, like I said, little things like that happen. But, when things like that do happen, I'm going to do whatever I can to fix the situation and do what I can to keep my people happy.
Yeah, I was doing a video with Nick that'll appear right around the same time as this one. And I put carriers are run by humans and agencies are run by humans too. We all make mistakes. Generally speaking, they're not intentional. And I'll jokingly say, I don't have the time to do things wrong. Like I might be going too fast to make a mistake, but I don't think Adam is sitting there thinking, F this person, he's on Azurna. Let's see if he sees it. We're all human. And if you trust the person, work with the person, trust that they make mistakes too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And, so I want to wrap on this point because we found that the algorithm doesn't really love us if we love on people too long. Who are you looking forward to work with, Adam? You're working to build a real honest brand, a real quality group of people. What kind of people are you looking to work with?
Anybody who's willing to, jump on board, really. I mean, I don't feel like you have to be a seasoned veteran. I mean, I think I'd prefer to bring on new people, that maybe people who aren't even in the business, people that I can kind of bring in from the ground up. And, but I'm also looking for leaders. I mean, I need people that have been in the business, that are experienced, that are willing to work with agents that would be willing to work with those sort of people that are just kind of getting up and running. I mean, I don't have time to hold everybody's hand, but if I have people that I know that I can trust that are good as well, and that I know that are willing to work with people and, you know, do what they can and make sure that they're going to look out for those agents' best interests as well, well, then that's a good fit. So, you know, whether somebody's brand new or they're a veteran in the business, I mean, I'm sure we can figure out ways to work together. And we can all continue to learn from one another. You know, I mean, I don't feel like any of us ever stop learning. I'm always, like I said, you know, even the telesales stuff, you know, I was trying to learn from people that have been doing it longer and were better at it than me. So, you know, it's a matter of, and well, I would say that's something I wouldn't want to work with someone that's got a huge ego. You know, I think sometimes egos can get in the way of success in the business. So, you know, you gotta, you know, if you're good, great, but you don't need to walk around telling the whole world about how good you are.
Yeah. I heard someone say to me once, you can learn something from everybody. Sometimes you learn bad things you don't want to be. Sometimes you learn good things you can implement, but you could honestly learn something from everybody that you interact with in life.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, you know, even agents, you know, that are new to the business. Like, you know, again, same thing. You know, we don't know what backgrounds they come from, how they were brought up, you know, what their vision of success is compared to what our vision of success is. So, and maybe I think sometimes people are maybe blinded by that. Maybe they don't see the opportunity of what it really could be, as far as like the income potential in the business. So, and that's something too. I mean, I've always felt like it doesn't really matter what kind of background you come from. You could live in a really poor, just grow up around nothing. But if you put your mind to it, you got the will. I mean, you can still make it happen in this business. All you got to do is, you know, go out and start knocking doors, even if you have to, you know, make a few commissions, and I mean, your life can change pretty quickly.
If you go to work, the rest will work itself out. I feel like that should be a shirt if I knew how to make shirts or could take the time on custom make just to make shirts for us. Go to work, the rest will work itself
That's it.
out.
You know, work ethic is key. You put the time in, it'll pay off.
So here's the good part about today. We got to see Adam today. We're going to see some cool editing. Hopefully our partners will put some flair in some shorts so that Adam can go out there and produce instead of edit. And we will be back sometime soon to bring the same thing to you guys again. Before you go, like the video, comment below about what you want Adam to talk about, subscribe to the channel so we can continue to grow. And we're going to go out there and be productive with the rest of our day, and hope you guys are as well. Adam, thanks for joining us today.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Chris.